Hey guys and girls, I'm James. Welcome to my channel. Today we're taking a look at another beginner mini drone, the 40RC V9 mini drone. And it comes in this box. Once you open the box, it's got this really nice package that it comes in. It's got a little handle, very small drone, but everything fits really nicely in here. The remote, which is very well laid out, and it holds your phone, 3 batteries, and the drone. So this drone does have prop guards, and it's real important to fly this inside with the prop guards on. The reason why is these are brushed motors. Brushed motors are 2 magnets spinning inside of each other, and when you put the prop guards on, it comes with extra props, but I'm not worried about the props. What you want to be worried about is these gears inside. So if you bind one of these props, you strip one of these gears, the drone's pretty worthless. You can replace them, but it's not worth the price of the drone. But man, this is a really good deal right now. This is the price on Amazon right now. But if you look, this is the price on eBay right now. So there's some really good deals out there right now. If you looked a couple days ago, I saw this Holystone HS210 is the same thing as the DERC D10, which is $93 on Amazon right now. But this is the same drone, and it's $35 on eBay right now. And the HS210, which is my favorite beginner mini drone to fly indoors because it just flies so good, is less than half price on eBay right now at this price. So how does the V9 stack up against other mini drones? So if you saw, I reviewed the two 40RC V8 drones. This one had the camera, which I said was probably the worst camera I've ever seen on a drone. And then they have this 40RC V8, which doesn't have a camera, because really the cameras are almost useless on these drones, but it does give you good practice on getting the camera working on a drone, because you want to start with the beginner mini drone, because the orientation is the same on these, on the controls of how to control it with the big drone. So you want to start with this before you go buy a big drone. So many people make that mistake. So how does it compare to all these other drones? Well, let's take it outside and we'll fly it. And how does the camera compare? I'll show you. It's better, but the cool thing about this drone, and I don't know why they did it, it's got a front camera and a downward facing camera. So in the app, you can either see in front of you or straight down. It's got 3 speeds. Speed 1's good for inside, and speed 1's really still almost too fast. The speed 3, this thing's a little rocket outside. Really good battery life. It's got a really good modular battery. So I'm gonna show you how to get the controller bound to the drone, how to get the gyros working, and how to get the app working after I fly it. And then I'll give you my final review. So let's go outside and let's put her in the air. Take off. There's speed 3 right away. All right guys, I'm flying it outdoors just to show you what it's capable of. If you're a true beginner, don't start outside. You want to start inside with the prop guards on in speed 1 until you learn the orientation of it. This thing fights the wind pretty good. Not only does it have a lot of power to fight it, but it's very small. Some of the beginner drones that are a lot larger, the wind's going to catch them, but it doesn't seem to affect this one as much. Sometimes flying it with a little bit of wind can increase your skill set because you're constantly having to fight the wind because this is not a GPS drone. So GPS drones use a satellite to hold its position. So when you let go of the sticks, it'll stick in one position. This one won't do that. If it's windy, it's going to carry it away. So if you do go outside, like I said, throw it straight into speed 3 or it can get away from you pretty quick. So there's no latency on the controls at all. It flies really well. Some of the cheap beginner drones, they have a lot of latency. In other words, when you turn it right or left, it takes a little while for it to turn. But this one seems to be spot on the controls, which makes it a lot of fun to fly. So don't ever fly it farther than you can see it, which is about maybe 50 yards or something like that. I think that's as far as the controller's going to control the drone anyway. You'll get a flyaway. So here's what it looks like on your phone when you're flying it. As you can see, it's not a very good camera, but it's an inexpensive drone. It's just really good practice to learn how to get the pre-start checklist and go throughout how to get everything bound and set up and the gyros, and really good practice before you go buy an expensive drone. Once you really learn the orientation of the joysticks, have an agenda. Don't just aimlessly fly it around or you'll get bored. I mean, work on your skill set. Try to do figure 8s with it, or try to have it fly around you, pointing at you, and fly around you, pointing away from you. So here I bring it inside. I still have the volume turned down. It's pretty loud inside, so if your parents are around or you're flying it, it's going to be really, really loud. But as you can see, it holds altitude really well. Definitely use the prop guards inside. I just can't find them. I don't know where I put them. I really like the lights on this drone. It's really easy to see what's the front and the back. After I get through going over the app and how to get the drone bound, I'll take it into a dark room and show it to you. So I get about 8 to 10 minutes of flight time per battery, so that's really good. And they're modular batteries, so they're really easy to swap in and out. Some of the other ones you got to connect the wires and stuff, but the modular batteries are really easy. Here, I'll show you how loud it is inside. I'll turn on the volume. All right. Like I said, this drone is about $45 on Amazon, but it's $29 on eBay, which is a really good deal with the 3 batteries in the case. I've always liked the HS210, but it doesn't also have modular batteries, so it's hard to connect the batteries. And it doesn't come with the case, but it does come with the 3 batteries. So different options to consider when you're looking at your first mini drone. It also doesn't have these cool lights on it or a camera, and it's more expensive than this drone. So this is a really good deal if you're looking at getting your first beginner mini drone. Oop, there's a flip. And you don't want to do flips inside. That's why it needs a lot of room to do a flip. So let's go over the app and everything, and I'll give you my final review. All right, let's see what she weighs in at. She weighs in at 54 grams, which is about the same weight as a little Huggy. So like I said before, inside this box, when you open it up, you got a really nice case. I really like this case. Got a handle. It's just really small, very easy, convenient to carry it around. So this is how big it compares to. It's about half the size. So when you open it up, you've got the drone. It's foldable. It's really small. And if you ever crash it, be sure these are pointed all the way out. It's really easy to fly it, and you try to take off on ones like that and you think something's wrong with it. So if you ever crash it or before you take off, make sure you open these up all the way. It does come with extra props, and if you ever replace these, make sure that you replace it with the right ones. And it does come with the prop removal tool. Be sure and use the prop removal tool. If you try to pull this out, you'll end up pulling the motor out and pulling these wires loose. Like I said, it's got the front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera. There's no SD card. It saves the video and photos to your app on your phone. So they're modular batteries. They're really easy to put in. So inside the case, you're gonna get 3 of them, chargers, extra blades, and a prop removal tool. I can't find the prop guards, but they just pop on right here. I have them somewhere around here. So you turn on the drone right here, and the lights are gonna blink until you turn on the remote. So it's not bound right now. These are not connected. So if you try to take off, it's not going to do anything until you bind these two. So to bind it, you have to do this every time. You go up and down on the left. So it's up and down. And now they're solid. Now you can fly it like this. You don't have to use the app to fly it. It'll fly really good like this, but if you want to get the camera to work, then you have to use the app. And I'm going to use my iPad to show you how to use the app, but I'm going to use my phone to fly it. So on the remote, it's got 3 speeds. It's real important if it's windy outside, go straight to speed 3. These are your trim buttons. So I didn't really have to adjust it that much, but if you're outside, but if you're flying and it seems to be drifting a little bit to the left or to the right, you hold down on the button of this and you push the controller in the opposite direction of the way it's going. It takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get the hang of it. This button is the one that you want to do flips on. I wouldn't even do them indoors unless you've got a big open area. And when you do flips outside, make sure you're like 10 feet away, because especially if you flip it at you, because it needs a lot of room to do flips. I'm not really crazy about the flip button, but I am crazy about the spin button. You push this spin button, and it's right here, this top button. It's really cool. It spins really fast. This is your takeoff and landing button. This is your return to home button. It's not a GPS drone, so it doesn't really know where it's at. So don't use that. It'll just fly into a wall. And then you got your headless mode, which don't ever use that. That takes away the orientation of the drone. Whoops. The whole reason you're using this controller is to learn the orientation of a drone. So if you use headless mode, it doesn't matter which direction it's going. Like if it's sideways and you want to bring it back, it'll bring back sideways. The whole reason to start with the beginner mini drone is to learn how to fly it correctly. So if you learn wrong, and when it goes back, your subconscious will learn the way that you were flying it the other way. So I would say never use headless mode. I've had a lot of people get really mad at me about saying that, but I'm going to stick with my guns on this one. So inside the instruction manual, there's a QR code. It comes with a really good instruction book too. But when you open the QR code, put your camera behind it, then you'll see the 40RC app. But before you do that, this is a Wi-Fi drone, unless you're hooked up to the Wi-Fi of the phone or the iPad that you're using. So what you need to do first to get it to work is to go to your Wi-Fi, and you see 40RC. Now your phone or your iPad is connected to the drone. That way the app will work. So it's good to make a pre-start checklist. Remember, you got to bind the drone to the controller, and now I have to bind both of them to the Wi-Fi of the app that I'm going to use. So it's upside down because it's in China. No, really. So when you hit go, now the camera's working. So this is the front camera. You see, it's got this camera seems to be a little bit better than the V8. Yeah. See, now you see it. If you want to use the downward facing camera, you go over here and you press this box, and it'll take you to all these options. And it says lens switch. See, you hit this, and now the bottom facing camera is switching. So if you want to go back to lens and hit lens switch. And then it switches back to the front. So inside this box, you got gesture photo, touch joystick. That's if you don't want to use a controller. You can change the speeds here, but I just use a controller. Orbit flight, that's where it goes around you. The 360 rolling, the headless mode, which I switch. And if you want to invert the camera, I think that flips it upside down, right? Yeah, if you want to flip the camera upside down, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. You can turn the camera upside down. This is where your photos and videos will be. So let me take this in another room, and I'll show you how cool these are in the dark. So for some reason, if you crash it and these are blinking and you're trying to get it to bind, and you're going up and down on this, and it doesn't seem to want to bind, what you need to do is just turn it off and turn it back on, and then go up and down. And then it's bound again. But every time you take off, you need to set your gyros. And what the gyro does, there's a little gyroscope in here, and so it needs to be on a flat surface, and you pull in on them. And every time you crash it or anything like that, you got to and every time before you take off, you have to have the drone on a flat surface, and you pull in on both joysticks, and it sets the gyro. You see they blink and then they go back off. So now the gyro's set. There's a little gyroscope in here. So if you set it sideways and you set the gyros, then the controller's going to think the controller's going to be all messed up. So make sure it's on a flat surface. So if you make a pre-start checklist, remember, you got to bind the controller to the drone, the Wi-Fi to the app, and you got to set your gyros every time by pulling in. And I would do that every time before I took off, and just make a good habit of doing it. So that way the drone's a lot easier to fly. All right, this is how cool these lights are when you're flying it at night. You really can see you can really tell the back from the front, and they'll start blinking at you when they start getting dark. So this drone has a lot of features on it for such a low price, and a lot of fun things to play with. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching my review of the 40RC V9 Beginner Mini Drone. So how do I think this stacks up against some of the other drones? Well, I think the camera's way better than the V8. This camera's really pretty good. I don't know why you'd ever use the downward facing camera unless it's something cool to play around with. I wish they'd have spent the extra money and put it in the front. It doesn't have an optical flow sensor, but it does have optical hold. It seems to hold its altitude very well. This one's way faster than this one. The battery life seems to be really good on it. I do like for indoors, this one has the covered guards on it, kind of like the HS210, which this one is the best flying beginner mini drone if you ever want to just get something to learn how to fly, to learn the orientation of a drone. But this one's really cool because it folds up, it's really small, and it fits in this cool little package. The interface of the app was really easy to understand. The price is really good. It comes with 3 batteries. So if you're trying to get something for your child or something that's just really cool, this is a cool drone. It's got a lot of cool factors on it. I love the lights on the front and back. It's very easy to fly. And if you're flying it indoors and you put prop guards on it, it should stay pretty safe. So as always, if you got something out of this, please like and subscribe. Subscribers mean everything to me in this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.